Hi, everyone. Michelle Mortensen here with what you need to know right now after the governor has addressed all of us here in the state of Nevada with some new information. He announced a couple of hours ago that he was going to be addressing us and he was going to be giving us some COVID related information. And every time Governor Sisolak speaks, of course, we all do get a little bit nervous. What the heck is this going to mean? What's he going to do to us now? Well, I have that information for you. I can tell you this much. This was another wasted press conference. This was another press conference that did not need to happen in any way, shape, or form. Why? Because nothing was addressed. Nothing has changed. No new information was brought out whatsoever. This, once again, was a complete and utter waste of time, which is pretty typical now with Governor Sisolak. Let me give you the rundown of what he did actually have to say. He wanted to let us know that we are in the red zone for cases, y'all. He wanted to let us know that we're at 8% cases of increase a day, which is so much more than the 0.5% we were at in September. However, he prefaces all that with, hey, cases are going up here in the state of Nevada, yet there is still no problem with hospitalizations. Nothing, no problem there. We aren't short on hospital beds. We aren't having trouble with the ICUs. There's no problem with the hospitals whatsoever. He just wants you to know that, COVID cases are going up. So I need you to do what I'm telling you to do. This is literally what he said. I need you to do what I'm telling you to do. I need you to go get vaccinated with the flu vaccine. I need you to wear your mask. I need you to wash your hands and I need you to social distance. My friends, that was the reason for the freaking press conference. That means nothing. There was no reason in God's green earth for this press conference other than for King Sisolak to once again, strike that, Dictator Sisolak to once again say, do what I say, wear those masks. I'm getting really, really frustrated with the whole wear your mask mentality because guess what? Everybody's wearing a freaking mask. You can't go anywhere without one. You want to get your nails done? You're wearing a mask. You want to go to Walmart? You're wearing a mask. You want to go to Target? You're wearing a mask. You want to go to a restaurant? You're wearing a mask. You want to go into a casino? You're wearing a mask. Where the fudge is anyone going where they don't wear a freaking mask? I think we have proven without a shadow of a doubt that masks are not what is going to stop freaking COVID-19. Then he had the audacity to say, I know y'all are feeling the COVID fatigue. I know y'all are feeling the COVID fatigue. It was supposed to be 15 days to flatten the curve. I remember the vice president having that sign, 15 days to flatten the curve. That's what Sisolak said. Then it became 30 days. Well, here we are 7-8 months later. And he said, I know that fatigue exists, but you can't have the fatigue. I just need you to go get tested. I need you to go get your flu vaccine. I need you to wash your hands. I need you to social distance. What the fudge? I am so sick and tired of this man. The reason why we have COVID fatigue is because nothing is opening up. The reason why we have COVID fatigue is because people cannot run their businesses and they cannot sustain their livelihoods anymore. The reason why we have COVID fatigue is because people are still waiting for PUA. The reason we have COVID fatigue is because families are saying, my God, I have not been able to make any money and I don't know how I'm going to put food on the table for my kids. The reason we have COVID fatigue is that even though we have seen without a doubt that COVID is not deadly in children at all, there's no proof at all that COVID is deadly in children, we refuse to let them go to school. That, my friends, is why we have COVID fatigue. We have COVID fatigue because of crap leaders like Governor Steve Sisolak, who couldn't grow a set if he even had one. Living Ken doll. He's right up there with Governor Newsom in his inability to lead or to make changes. And that's a huge problem. He is the reason why we have fatigue. He is the problem. He said we all need to be united, that we can't be divided, that the enemy is not people, that the enemy is the disease. Okay, hold on. If the enemy is a disease that has a 99% survival rate, it's not much of an enemy now, is it? We have over 330 million people living in this country, and it has unfortunately taken the lives of 220,000 Americans. That is not even 1% of our population. This is not a deadly disease. This is a disease that has taken people's lives, as the flu can, as diabetes can, as a heart attack can, as a car accident can, as a million things can take someone's life. But we've never stopped the world from functioning because of a cold or because of the flu or because of diabetes or because of cancer or because of any other myriad of things. Sisolak said himself that the hospitals are not full. The hospitals are not overrun. But you know what? There are many women who are not going and getting the necessary mammograms they need right now in the month of October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, because they're too afraid to go to the hospital, because Steve Sisolak has created fear in this state where fear not need exists. My friends, the President of the United States had COVID. He was diagnosed, I believe, on October 2nd. Since that time, he has eradicated the virus from his body and he has gone coast to coast campaigning. Yet, we can't go to church. Yet, we can't do anything. And if we sit here and act like a vaccine is going to contain this virus, if we sit here and act like a vaccine is going to be the cure-all, that if the vaccine happens, all the kids are going to go back to school and no one's going to be afraid anymore, you are insane. Because the anti-vaxxers, sure as shooting, aren't going to go get it, right? We know that. The Democrats aren't going to go get it because, well, they don't want to get it because it was created under the Trump administration. And then normal folks like myself aren't going to go get it because, you know what? It's not that deadly. It's not that big of a thing. It's not anything I'm afraid of. I don't live in fear. And then when the president tells y'all not to live in fear, what do the Democrats do? They get up in arms. Their heads about to explode because they're like, how dare he tell us not to be afraid? Their whole method of ruling and governing right now is for you to be afraid. So if you're afraid, guess what? You're playing right into their hands. If you're not afraid, then stand up and let everyone know that you're not afraid. It was really rich how at the end of the press conference, Governor Sisolak goes, I just want to remind everyone it's super important to vote. I need y'all to go vote. Go mail in those ballots. Go vote in person. Go do what you need to do. That was rich coming from him. The man who forced in all mail voting in the dark of night, in the cover of night, when it wasn't necessary or needed, when he himself knew he wasn't going to go mail in his ballot, he was going to go vote in person. Did y'all see that? He was voting at the Boulevard Mall. This is rich. This is super rich coming from this man. Super rich and very, 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 very frustrating. Here's the thing, everybody. You don't need to live in fear. Wear your mask. Yes. You want to know why? Because we are governed by a Democrat. And that Democrat is not going to be happy until we have 100% mask wearing. So wear the darn mask so we can open up. Because at the end of the day, what we are seeing right now here in the state of Nevada is very, very clear and very, very simple. First point, kids are not going to school online. There is a disproportionate number of children who are children of color who are not going to school online. They are not getting the education that they need. And those kids who do have the computers and the Wi-Fi in order to get the education that they need, they're not getting a quality education. And he said, if we could come up with a system to send those kids back to school, I would do it. Let me give you a huge news flash here. This is going to be big. This is going to be breaking news. Why don't you freaking talk to all of the private schools that have been open this whole dang time without any massive COVID cases? Just solve the problem. Looks like private institutions do it better than public. No surprise, because big government sucks, as does regulation suck, as does this governor suck. And there are many people who get mad at me when I attack Steve Sisolak. But you know what? No one else has the cojones to attack him because they're all living Ken dolls in this state. Someone has to stand up and be the voice. Someone has to have their voice heard. Someone has to be the person who is going to stand up for what's right. And you don't do that with a stupid protest. You don't do that by driving in your cars and honking horns. You don't do that by going picketing outside the governor's mansion. No, you do that by having a voice and getting more and more people to not be afraid of the truth. You do that by being truthful and by being transparent. And that is all we do here on the Michelle Mortensen Show. You get truth truth, you get transparency, you get facts. And my friends, that's how you make a difference. So every time the governor is going to get on TV and do a press conference and freaking lie to y'all, I'm going to correct those lies with truth and transparency, because this is utter BS. And if we don't start standing up for our rights right now, we're going to live this way for a very, very, very long time. And we can't let that happen. If everyone who works at Walmart can go to work, if everyone who works at the hospital can go to work, if every accountant and lawyer and realtor can go to work, why can't teachers? It's a great question. It's a darn great question. We need to start using our voices, and you don't use your voice by going to a protest. I know that we have the right to protest. I know that we have the right to assemble. I get it. It's a right. But let's all get on the same page here. They're stupid and they don't do anything. If you can name one protest that has ever changed anything, I'll give you $1 million. And I can make that bet, because protests don't work. Protests are a way for privileged people to sit there and say, I'm protesting, and it doesn't do a darn thing. If you want things to change, you need to start using your voice. You need to start spreading the truth. You need to start doing so with transparency, and you better have the cojones to call out the bad actors. And that's exactly what I'm doing. We can no longer be afraid, and we can no longer tolerate this nonsense. I do not want to be told anymore that I need to wash my freaking hands. I'm a freaking grown woman with 8 Emmys. I know what to do. I know how to wash my darn hands. I don't want you to tell me to get a flu shot. You want to know why? Because I already got my flu shot. I'm pro flu shot. Do I give a rat's patoot whether you get a flu shot? No, I don't. Why? Because we live in a free country. And in a free country, you can do what you want. I know it's riveting, right? You're like, wow, what is this girl saying? She's so unique. What a unique perspective that she thinks that people can do what the heck they want. Yes, that's right. We live in a free country. You should be able to do what you want. You want a flu shot? Go get one. You don't want a flu shot? Don't get one. But we don't need the governor coming on TV and wasting 30 minutes of precious TV time to tell us to get a flu shot, to tell us to wash our freaking hands, to tell us to wear our masks. Listen, my kids are so indoctrinated now with wearing a mask that even when they get in the car from school, they're still wearing the mask. And I have to be like, take that sucker off. Everybody knows they need to wear a mask. Not because it works, but to pacify weak Democrats, to pacify the people who want to say this is a public health issue, to pacify the people who are really the lowest common denominator. Ooh, yes, I just pulled a Hillary Clinton right there. Why can I do that? Why can I do that? Oh, I'll tell you why I can do that. Because it's only Democrats who would wish that the president would die when he got COVID. It's only Democrats who, when COVID is going around in the Biden camp and Kamala Harris has to put a lid on things because of COVID going on in her camp, there's not one word about it. But for weeks on end, we had to hear about how reckless and horrible the White House was. Oh, yeah. That's exactly why I can speak up. That's exactly why I can go tell this governor to go suck it. It's exactly why you're wearing your mask, to pacify the weak, intolerant, and scared, aka Democrats. But those of us who believe in freedom, those of us who believe in strong will, those of us who believe in choices, those of us who don't want to live under communist regimes and dictatorships, my friends, we're the ones who are going to stand up. We will wear the mask to go into the building. We will wear the mask to go into the restaurant. We will wear the mask to go to the store. But we aren't wearing it because we're afraid, because, my friends, we are not afraid, because we have nothing to fear but fear itself. We have nothing to fear but fear itself. And I am not afraid. I will not live in fear, but I will also not sit here and watch our great community be destroyed because of this man and his failed leadership. because we need to start speaking the truth. In early February, the legislature will be meeting here in the state of Nevada to plan budgets for fiscal year 22 and fiscal year 23. And if you don't think that there are going to be massive cuts, if you don't think there's going to be massive cuts to jobs, if you don't think that there is going to be massive cuts to programs, you are living in denial, because everything that keeps this state afloat is called the Las Vegas Strip. And it has been nowhere near what it used to be because of the freaking fake response to COVID-19. Why do I call it a fake response? Because it's something that just pacifies you. If you think wearing a mask is going to change things, boy, I've got some oceanfront property to sell you right now off of Lone Mountain Road. That's how stupid you are if you think a mask is going to change things, because most of you are wearing freaking cloth masks or see-through masks or lace masks or masks that aren't going to do anything. But as long as you've got it over your nose and your mouth, all the freaking Karens of the world can calm themselves down. He basically held this press conference to tell us, I'm seeing some trends that cases are going up. All right. Let's address that right now. Yeah, cases are going to go up because the more that you test, the more you're going to see cases. If every time you get a little sniffle, every time you get a little cough, you go and get a COVID test, guess what? We're going to see more COVID tests. We're going to see cases rise. We're absolutely going to see it. Here's the problem, though. Are we seeing a huge intake in deaths? Ooh, no, we're not. That's basically all he said. I don't even know why I need to look at the notes. He didn't say anything. And my friends, we are losing this battle right now. We're losing this battle because, number one, the media is against us. The media has bought into the fear mongering. The media has bought into this is a problem and everyone is so irresponsible if they aren't wearing a mask. The media has bought into the lie that if you're wearing a mask, well, then you won't get COVID. Well, how dare you say that to all the people who got COVID and who did wear masks? How dare you say that? We've reached a point where the treatment of COVID has reached new heights like we never could have imagined before. We are able to treat COVID in ways where we are able to really curtail it very quickly, unless you have a comorbidity. And even those with comorbidity, because how often did we have to hear that freaking Donald Trump was obese? We heard it a lot. This is why I should never win an election, because then all of y'all will talk about is how obese I am all the time. I don't need that. But even with comorbidities, COVID-19 is no longer this deadly, scary disease. I'll tell you what is scary, though. The freaking cure that Democrats and fearmongers have created. This cure is going to lead to mass homelessness here in the state of Nevada. It's going to lead to mass evictions here in the state of Nevada. It is going to lead to mass poverty here in the state of Nevada. It's going to lead to big problems. If you work on the Strip and you're a part of culinary, I just have one quick question for you. What did culinary do for you, if anything, this year at all to help you keep your job? I'll answer. They didn't do jack, because basically they said, we don't want to go back. It's not safe. I don't want to vacuum. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. We're not going back. We're going to hold a protest on the Strip. That's what culinary did. And it didn't work to your advantage at all, because 18,000 people were laid off from MGM. Stations has had to lay off people. The Encore announced, hey, we're only going to be open Thursday through Monday because we just don't have enough people here. So yeah, I love how culinary helped you. Yet culinary will not stop calling my phone in my home, where we only have Republican voters, to say, would you please vote for Democrats? Heck no, I ain't going to vote for a Democrat. No. Because the Democrats have not done anything to improve our situation here. In fact, they've just hurt us more. I'm going to agree with Governor Sisolak on one thing. We need to vote. We need to vote. Look at the numbers thus far. With mail-in voting, Democrats are outvoting us. But independents are voting in droves as well. And we don't know how independents are voting. In fact, we don't have any idea how anyone is voting. But I'll tell you this much. Republicans this cycle have done a horrible job a horrible job of reaching the independent voter. In fact, I often scratch my head when I get a pile of mail from Republican candidates that are sending their mail to 2 Republican voters. Why are you doing that? You should be reaching the independent voters. And the fact that most of you haven't is just a disgrace. Just a disgrace. So yeah, I am going to call out the Republican candidates right now because, my friends, if we don't win this one, if we don't win some seats in this 2020 election here in the state of Nevada, and we don't go red in just a few seats, let me tell you what, who's to blame? It's not the Democrats. It's not even Sisolak. It's not even mail-in voting. It's the fact that the Republicans did such a crap job of getting their message out there when we had such a crap leader like Steve Sisolak destroying our state. I may be a Republican talk show host. I may be a conservative talk show host now, but I'll tell you what, that doesn't mean that I won't throw some shade on some crap Republicans. And boy, this state is freaking full of them. That's actually why I do what I do. I need people to become informed. I need people to know the truth. I need transparency to reign. Because we've got to quit endorsing the same losers who can't do anything. I'm looking at you, Laxalt, looking at you, Fiore, looking at you, Seaman, looking at you, Tarkanian. You guys are the people who have gotten us to the place where we are, where we can't even win an election. So why are you still supporting those fools? Why are you listening to who they tell you to vote for? Might that just be the swamp, helping the swamp? It's tough to tell the truth, I know. I know it sucks. Sometimes it sucks to hear. It does. I admit it. It sucks to hear the truth sometimes. But someone's got to balls up and tell you. On that note, I do want to remind everyone that on Friday, you want to tune in for the Michelle Mortensen Show at 11 a.m. You can watch right here on Facebook. You can watch on YouTube. You can watch on Twitter. You can listen at KSHP 1400 a.m. And the reason why you want to listen is because you get all this every single day. In fact, I will remind you right now, I have a freaking killer exclusive interview with Senator Marsha Blackburn that I did on Monday that only subscribers to the Michelle Mortensen Show are going to get. It was amazing. Not only did we talk about Taylor Swift and how Taylor Swift went after her and tried to say that she was not a powerful woman, but we talk about the way conservative women are treated in this country. We talk about how the grand old party is a real problem. In fact, Senator Blackburn said we should change the name because we are no longer the grand old party and we've got to quit being the old way and the old party and the old way of doing things. Absolutely phenomenal. We also talked about stimulus and ways to cut the debt and the deficit. You have got to check out this interview, but only subscribers are going to get it. Also, breaking news here. I did a 45-minute interview with Tyrus, a 45-minute interview with Tyrus. On Friday's show, you're going to see a small portion of that, about 10 minutes of my interview with Tyrus from the Greg Gutfeld Show on Fox. Those of you who are subscribers will get the entire thing. I got to tell you, it was one of the best interviews I've ever done. Not that it was the most beautifully done or I asked the best questions, but it was really interesting because we had a very in-depth talk about race in this country and how Republicans and Democrats view race. As you know, Tyrus is a man of color. I'm a regular old white woman. We're both conservatives, and we had a very honest and frank discussion about race relations in this country today, the way that media has responded to race in this country. Absolutely fascinating stuff. You're going to want to check this out, and you're going to see parts of it on Friday, and subscribers will get the whole 45-minute interview, which is freaking phenomenal. There was no one else in town, no media outlet in town, no radio host in town, no TV host in town, no fake pundit in town who gives you this type of access to the movers and shakers, the political people that I give you access to. It's because I have 8 Emmys. It's because I've run for office 2 times. It's because I'm known so well in the Republican Party. It's because I sit on White House boards with the president. That is how I'm getting you this access. So there you go. If you want to know what's really going on, you're going to tune into the Michelle Mortensen Show every Monday and every single Friday at 11 a.m. But you're also going to subscribe to MichelleMortensen.com so that you can get this exclusive content again, it makes all the difference. I know when I do these lives at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, y'all say, oh my gosh, I love the commentary. I love the information you give. Thank you for that. I truly appreciate that. So share the heck out of it, okay? If we're going to make a difference, if we're going to change things around here, if we're going to get our state back, we have to share the message. You can't keep it private to yourself. We have to get it out there, and I can't do it without you. All right, friends, I will see you back here on Friday at 11 a.m. when we talk to Tyrus and so much more. Plus, Tommy Loran coming on the show in just a couple of weeks. We've got Kaya Jones coming on in just a couple of weeks, and a few more very, very good guests we're looking at getting. In fact, maybe one of my most favorite people on Fox News ever. I should know by the end of the week. Oh, I'm so excited. So definitely stay tuned and stay here. And thank you guys for all of your support. Thank you guys for all of your love. But more than that, do a favor for me. Just get the truth out there. Be truthful, be unafraid, be brave, and let's fight the good fight, and let's win. And we win with truth and transparency, not with protests. And that is all for me right now. Thanks for joining on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, and every other platform wherever you stream. All right. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.